Alright guys, Ashbfc here and welcome to another retro review. So originally I was going to review WWF WrestleMania Challenge on the NES, but I thought, as you know what, let's do a 3D wrestling game. So this time it's going to be WWF War Zone, which was released in 1998 on both the PS1 and Nintendo 64. Now I do believe this was the first ever 3D WWF game, and actually I think one of the earlier 3D wrestling games in general, so pretty big deal for the time. And it was the first 3D wrestling game I ever played, and I loved it. I sunk many hours into this as a kid. And also when this game was released, the Attitude Era was underway. It was the Monday Night Wars, and wrestling was fucking awesome. And if anyone's wondering, no, I do not watch WWE anymore. I have not watched it for about 10 years. I can't fucking stand it. It's garbage. Let's get into it. Now, the game looked great for the time. Character models looked awesome, just like the wrestlers. They're all detailed, even the faces and things. We had full 3D arenas. The game even featured mini entrances where the wrestlers would appear under the Titantron on top of the stage with the music playing. They do the little signature pause or gesture, a little bit of pyro going off too. That was pretty cool back then. It's the first time I'd ever seen entries in a video game. In fact, there was a lot of firsts for me actually in this game. The game even had commentary as well from Jim Ross and Vince McMahon.
Welcome to the World Wrestling Federation, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment. I'm Vince McMahon, and I'm good old JR.
You also had 18 wrestlers to choose from, including Stone Cold, The Rock, Kane, Undertaker, Mankind, all the big names at the time, and we even had some voice acting from the wrestlers as well, which was also pretty cool. So decent amount of content too as well. Like, prior to this game, a lot of the wrestling games, particularly from the previous generation, they didn't really have a whole lot to them. You usually just had like what your typical one-on-one or maybe a tag team match, maybe a tournament, but that was usually it. But we had quite a lot more going on this. I mean, we did have the typical one-on-one. You got your tag team matches, including Tornado Tag. We had Battle Royal. The game even featured the cage match too, which was awesome. We had to escape over the top to win. And a weapons match, which was, I guess, kind of a hardcore match. You just have weapons scattered around the ring. I think the crowd actually threw them in, including ring bells, steel chairs, and even a frigging TV you could use to bash your opponent's skull in. But one of my favourite modes was the challenge mode, so you'd pick a wrestler and then you'd have to beat multiple opponents, winning belts along the way, working your way to the WWF Championship. And along the way you'd actually be challenged to grudge matches by opponents that you'd previously beat, and they'd usually be in a steel cage or be a weapons match. And the PS1 version actually had little video clips showing the wrestler calling you out, which is pretty cool. The N64 version didn't have that, which I think was due to the cartridge limitations. And also this game had Create a Wrestler, which, I don't know, it was pretty in-depth at the time. That was cool. I loved creating my own guy, give it like a skinny guy or a fat guy, create all sorts of weird stuff. It was really cool. Again, it was the first time I'd seen something like that in a wrestling game, so that was awesome. So for the actual gameplay itself, it was pretty darn good. The wrestlers all had quite a lot of moves, including the signature moves and finishers, which was awesome. Because again, going back to like games prior to this, most of the wrestlers would have pretty much the same moves. You just have like what basic kicks and punches, maybe a body slam, maybe a suplex, a running attack, but that was kind of it. They were very limited. But no, we had all sorts going on here, and they're all motion captured as well, so they looked pretty damn good, from suplexes, body slams, freaking choke slams, DDTs, over the head bell to belly suplexes, which you can actually use to throw guys out the goddamn ring. And we also had submission moves as well, so good stuff, a lot going on. So the wrestlers would have health bars at the top of the screen. They'd start off green, and then they'd change colour the more damage you took, going from yellow to orange to finally red, which means you'd be very vulnerable to getting pinned or even submitted. And also, it's when you got your opponent down to red is when you could pull out your finishing move, which would almost always guarantee the win. So one of the things about this game was the control scheme. It was pretty interesting. So your maneuvers would be done by putting in button combinations. So for example, say what, left square for a suplex maybe, or upright triangle for a body slam, things like that. You can actually bring up the moves list during the game, and it'd show you what moves you had available, but it depended on like what position your opponent was in, something like on the ground or the back facing to you, or if you're in a grapple or if you're up on the top rope. But you could see all the moves that you could do. So yeah, it's a little weird today. Takes a bit of getting used to, and I'll admit it's definitely not the best control scheme for a wrestling game, but at the same time I don't think it's like really bad either. You do get used to it, and I totally got used to it when I was a kid. If I played it so much, I just memorized all the moves, so it was kind of second nature putting in those combinations. So yeah, it was easy enough for me, but some people probably would struggle to go back now and, you know, use this control scheme. I mean, you know, as I said, it's not the most ideal control scheme. I wouldn't want to see a wrestling game really do this again. And the game could feel a little clumsy at times, I guess. It was a little bit stiff, a little bit robotic at times, and I always found it funny, like, if you missed a running attack, you just fucking faceplant into the mat. That was pretty hilarious, but for the most part, it was alright. But yeah, overall, still a really fun wrestling game. At the time of its release, in my opinion, it was the best one going. I had a hell of a lot of fun with it back in the day, a lot of great memories, and I can still boot it up and enjoy it to this day, you know. I mean, yeah, today it does feel a little bit dated, you know, again, especially with the control scheme and stuff. Just said some people will probably have a really hard time being able to get past that control scheme, but, you know, considering it was, you know, one of the earlier 3D games, I think it was pretty awesome. It was definitely a big leap over a lot of the 2D games that we're used to seeing prior to this, and yeah, although it was a great transition from 2 to 3D, there's a lot to enjoy here, and at the time it was definitely a must-have for wrestling fans, and yeah, awesome game. I said I can still enjoy it to this day, but hey, this game was just the beginning, because once they really start to figure out the 3D wrestling games, oh yeah man, did we get some incredible games, and keep an eye out for those reviews in the future. But yeah, that'll do it for this one, guys, so as always, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.